Our natural state is a state of health, but we have to give it the right fuel. About 10 years ago, I was getting ready to be turn 40, and I noticed a lot of things had happened in my life, and I'd been laid off from work and I was staying home with my kids. I started gaining a lot of weight, and I didn't know what was happening because I'd never really had a problem with gaining a lot of weight, and I couldn't get it off. And so I started the beginning of a 10-year journey of trying to lose weight. I gained probably 40 to 45 pounds in over a year. And I was trying a lot of different things to lose weight. I have been trying to lose about 30 pounds for 10 years. 10 years ago, I have recovering from a major surgical intervention to relieve living with a chronic autoimmune illness called Meniere's disease. I was laid off from work. I was home and I was recuperating, and in the course of probably a year, I gained 40 to 45 pounds. I'm not sure because I really didn't weigh myself very often, and I could not get the weight to come off. I tried calorie restriction. I only ate super food. Prior to that, growing up, I had, a basic Western standard American diet. I did basically subsist on hamburgers and French fries, fast food, especially French fries. I probably ate French fries every single day of my life until 10 months ago. And then 10 years ago, when I was trying to lose weight, I just switched to other things. I'd never really heard of kale until, it became very popular around 2009. I'd never eaten many vegetables growing up. Certainly not anything like quinoa or chia seeds or any kind of nuts. That was just not a part of my upbringing. Fast forward to January of this year, 2023, I was dieting again, and I had switched over to more of whole foods. I was eating basically chicken. I was not getting nearly enough protein, but I was trying to. And I was getting a lot of my protein from other sources, plant sources, and some yogurt, Greek yogurt, things like that. I was eating and drinking almond milk, all kinds of nuts, chia seeds. I was living off of chia seed bowls and chia bowls. I've had a lot of different autoimmune kind of issues over the course of 25 years. I was having these like sensory issues or something. But what happened was I had just prepared a whole bunch of meal prepping and food for, the next week. And it was all these vegetables, smoothies, and chia seed bowls. And I had what was like an allergic reaction. It felt very scary, and it was quickly onset within moments of eating something. My neck, from like right here, just the bottom of my chin down, was itching, and it was more of a skin crawling itching sensation. It scared me. I didn't have any trouble breathing. Obviously I didn't. It wasn't like I needed an EpiPen. It wasn't an anaphylactic type response, but it was considerable enough that I took some Benadryl to alleviate the symptoms, and I felt like my chest did feel tight. I've eaten something that I'm allergic to, or I'm having a histamine reaction, and I need to detox and get it all out of my system. While I was searching for a detox protocol, I came across Mikhaila Peterson and the Lion Diet, an elimination diet. And I thought, well, I'm going to do an elimination diet for 2 weeks. And it's 10 months later. Thank God I found Mikhaila Peterson and her experience. So I switched to a complete elimination diet, carnivore diet, and I went cold turkey. That's just how I am. I am all or nothing. And I got it in my head that I had to do this. So like I said, I was only going to do it for 2 weeks. And then I started researching more and more about elimination diets, because I was a little bit familiar with GAPS and different elimination diets. I had even tried in 2016, when I was probably at my largest, heaviest weight, I tried Whole30. I was going from an extremely high oxalate diet to nothing at all. What ended up happening was around week 7, I developed something on my legs. It wasn't a rash. I had it on my legs, a little bit on my torso, and on a few spots on my arms, but it wasn't like a red itchy rash. It looked like small bumps all over my legs, up from my knee down. The bumps itched so much that it was like I thought they were bug bites, like no-see-ums, or really itchy bug bites. I knew they weren't mosquito bites, but they were so itchy, and nothing would alleviate the itch. I was a part of a community, and I posted in the Proper Human Diet community. I immediately got some help and some answers. The first comment on my post was, "That sounds like something that happened to me, and it's something called oxalate dumping." So this was about mid-February, maybe the beginning of March, and I had no idea about oxalates, high oxalate foods, or toxic superfoods. Someone recommended me, said you should read this book, Toxic Superfoods by Sally K. Norton. So I downloaded it onto my Kindle. I didn't really start reading because as quickly, I didn't start reading it because as quickly as those itchy red bumps, that rash, or just that, as quickly as they came, one day, it was almost overnight, they were just gone. They were gone. There was no trace of them. It wasn't like a bump. They were gone. It was crazy. And so I didn't start reading Toxic Superfoods until probably a month later. And a month later, in the same community, the Proper Human Diet community, I posted, "Hey, I'm having something is going on again, but this was a completely different symptom." Especially when I thought, I got to read this book especially because the next comment that someone made was, "I have the exact same thing on my lower left shin or inside, gout-like pain in, my knees and thumbs." I'm guessing it was this, coming off of a wave eating with raspberry spinach juice and just going cold turkey and starting carnivore. So what I did was I actually ordered the hard copy book, the handheld, and I started reading it. So in reading through the book, I got some tips. If you're having an oxalate flare, oxalate dumping, what you can do is eat something that has just a little bit of something that has some oxalates in it. Some people recommend, a square of dark chocolate. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to be, thrown back into cravings and that kind of thing, because I am completely carnivore. I haven't had a lot of that for, months. Someone else suggested sipping on green tea or black tea. Those tips were helpful. But the interesting thing for me is that my oxalate dumping flares or times, whatever it is, will bother me for a few days, and then it will go away as fast as it came. So I've been very lucky with that. As soon as I usually start having the problem, then it has gone away. She explains what oxalates are. She goes through the process of that, and then she talks about some symptoms and some clearing. My symptoms do present very quickly, but they do seem to go away quickly as well. And sometimes it's overnight. I have had a multitude of symptoms off and on for the last 10 months. At one point around 2 months ago, so month 8, I was having intense back pain. Not lower back pain, and like I said, I don't have pain. I never had pain before. That wasn't really my issue, but I was having neck pain, even in my head and in my jaw. And one night I went to bed, and the next morning I woke up and it was gone, and I haven't had trouble with that again. I am having some trouble right now with an achy joint in my ankle and the top of my foot. My eyes have been sandy and gritty, and I have never pulled out any crystals, but it would not surprise me at all, especially if my left eye, I had some crystals, because it's what I consider my bad eye, because it's on my left side, and that's my weaker side. Everything that happens to me, any kind of organ or anything that goes awry, is on my left side. No joke. A lot of the information in the book that talks about links between heavy oxalate diets and some of the, effects and symptoms that people have because they're eating a high oxalate diet. I would certainly, if I could, change anything, I would certainly switch to a low oxalate diet slower than I did, since I just went completely cold turkey from super heavy high oxalate. Everything I was eating was high oxalate. And I went straight from that cold turkey into eating only meat, beef, specifically beef and eggs. I didn't even eat chicken for the first several months. I didn't eat much bacon. I didn't eat much pork because I feel like I'm sensitive to pork. So I was certainly weaned down. And in the book, she gives a protocol of converting your diet, step-by-step process. It's very fascinating how you can just convert. So there are ways to go about it to where you're easing into it. And so then you might not have clearing episodes as much. Your body will be able to clear them easier on its own than the way I did it. And she also gives some support for recovery and talks about different ways of supporting your body, because our bodies are designed to be healthy. We're not designed, our complex system is not designed to be sickly and weak and not working. Our natural state is a state of health, but we have to give it the right fuel.